Hello, everyone. I'm Priyanka Thakur. I've been in the field of IT for more than 7 years now, and I've been working in the field of data science. I also hold a master's degree, and I will also use Tableau on a day-to-day basis. And today, I'm going to give you a brief overview of Tableau and also a small demo of the product. Um, yeah, let's get started. So Tableau, it's basically a data visualization tool. Um, so why do we need a data visualization? So thing is, generally anybody, they like to view something colorful or something easy to understand instead of reading pages and pages of document. I'm sure many of us would have already felt that when we were given some document to read, or something easier to understand, something easier to view, that would make it easy. So something to graphically represent the data. So there are many tools available for it. We can even use Excel, we can use Power BI, we can use Tableau. So what it helps us is, it's like generally whatever the data you have, what is the trend in the data, what is the pattern. You can tell a different type of story depending on the different audience you have. And if you need to make some decisions based on the data you have, it makes it quite easy. And also in, like, developing your business and implementing some strategies, it always helps you out. So the main principle, like what an effective visualization would be. So suppose you are trying to build a visualization. It should be easy to interpret by others who are looking at it for the first time. So that is the main thing. And also it should represent something without distorting the actual data behind it. Just because you're building a view on it doesn't mean it should portray something else. You should actually represent it truthfully, whatever the data is. And also it should be based on what type of audience you're targeting for. Is it a beginner? Is it somebody at the corporate head level? Or is it somebody you're just looking at it, not trying to make any decisions? Or is somebody trying to implement something based on it? So it depends on your audience too. And the colors and layouts, it should also be easily readable without overcomplicating anything, without using too bright colors or too like light ones. So also, when you're building something in a data visualization, you should allow users to actually interact with the data too. So these are some things which will help you build an effective visualization. And Tableau, I think it's a really wonderful tool. It helps us to put the visualization in a beautiful manner. It allows us to build dashboards and tell stories from it, and you can always like whatever data you have to report something, you can directly build the charts on it and download the data from it. So I think it's a really wonderful tool. And I'm not sure who might have already used it, but I think the people who use it, they really love it, and they try to accomplish everything using Tableau. So the main features of Tableau, like these can connect to different type of data sources. It can connect to your Excel sheet, CSV, or you have different databases, Postgres, Access database, everything. And it allows for sharing as well. It allows us to publish the dashboards. It allows us to build in interactive dashboards too. You can drill down in the data, and it also allows to drag and drop everything from the interface. I'll give you a quick demo in some time, but yeah, this is a really cool tool. So before building a dashboard, I think the main questions we should be thinking about, like any dashboard, not only in Tableau, but any general dashboard you're building, like who is the target audience for it? Is it for your managers, or is it for somebody at your head, or you're targeting it for a general audience? Because the amount of information you're showing in the dashboard, it depends on the type of audience you're targeting for. Also, where is the audience viewing the dashboard? Is it on their desktop? Is it on their mobile? You can always choose the settings for it and display the dashboard accordingly. And what information are we planning to show? Does it have any type of restrictions on the data? Do we need only few people to view it and we want to restrict others from viewing it? Are there any specific access limitations we need to keep in it? These are some things we need to think before working on a dashboard. And why exactly are we building this? Is it to make some decision on it, or is it just for a view easily understanding it? So these are the few questions we should keep in mind before actually building some dashboard. And then there are different types of visualizations we can use. This basically depends on the type of data you're using. So based on that, you can always choose different types of charts. And okay, let's go to the quick demo here. So for now, for this demo, I'm using Tableau Public. This can be easily downloaded from the Tableau website itself. It is easily available to everyone, free of cost, and you can always use this. So basically, the Tableau interface, it's different a little bit for Tableau desktop version and for the public version, but most of the common features, right, the functionality is the same. So this is how a Tableau workbook will look. So generally, you can connect to different types of files, the Excel, the text type, or the CSV, JSON, and Access files or the PDF files too. And other than that, if you suppose have some data source on a server too, you can always you can always connect to it. And you can suppose there is something which is not directly supported by Tableau, you can always install the connectors and then connect to it. So suppose we connect to some Excel data. So suppose your particular Excel file, it has multiple sheets. You can even select which sheets you want to work with. And then you can select that you have to drag and drop. This is basically like a drag and drop functionality. You will have to drag that particular sheet you want to work with onto the this main screen, and here you can see like what are the different fields which are available, and the different data types. You can always modify it. If you feel like this is tagged improperly, you can modify that. So this is the date, and so it has been tagged correctly. But if you feel like it should be in a string format, or you want to use in that particular format in your view, then you can always modify it. And you can rename your fields here, or if suppose you want to join these two sheets, and if you have some common field which you can use in both of the sheets to join it, then you can always drag and drop it, and here you can combine both of it into a single one, and then you can work on it. So once you have the data in the workbook, you'll have to go to a particular sheet, and there you can see all the different fields available here too. So these particular fields, they don't have the names, so we'll have to clean it first. So you can always rename it, or if you see here, these are actually the names. So these are the blank rows above it. So you can use this data interpreter sheet here, which helps you clean the Microsoft, the Excel sheet. So once it starts executing it, all the common issues which could be like the common ones, where it's like this one, where the names are not properly set or the data types is not properly set, most of it gets corrected when you use this. But in case it doesn't, you can manually do that. So now if you see, it has the correct names displayed, and whatever fields you want to build your view with, you can always drag and drop it here onto the sheet. Suppose you want to do something with the order date and the ship date. If you double click it, it comes onto the sheet. But this is not the way you want to display the view, right? So you can move it wherever you feel you want to. And because this is a date field, it allows you to select the particular field you want to use from the date. Is it the year or month specifically, or you want to use the entire date, like the exact date? So So here you can see the exact dates. What is the order date and what is the ship date? So this particular data is basically based on some online orders, when the order was put and when it was actually shipped. So if you want to build some view using the order date and ship date, you want to see like when it was, what is the number of days the gap was there and how it has happened, then you can use this. And when you add this particular like whatever fields you want, it's not always like it's going to give you in a tabular format first, but you can always select the view from here. It will show you, like suppose you want to build a bar chart, a bar chart or a histogram or a pie chart. It shows you like what type of fields you need to use. Is it a dimension or is it a measure? Dimensions are basically fields like this, like the order date, the ship date, or the product ID. And measures will be something like which are numeric, mostly like the count of sales or the discount you have or the profit or the quantity. So based on this, like how many dimensions are needed, what measures are needed to actually display this particular view. So you can see that here. Suppose you want to find out on a particular order date in one particular month, how much discount, like sorry, how much profit you have got and how much quantity sales were made. So you can always do that from here. So suppose if we take the sales field, you can add it to the text. It gives you the sales. Okay, so on this particular order date, whatever orders were placed, the total was three different orders, but these three were shipped on three different dates, and this is the sales made. So similarly, you can add different fields here, and now it kind of allows you all the other views which had been grayed out. It kind of becomes more visible. So you can always, select this. Whatever field you want to like change the colors and all, you have the marks card here. So you can put the field on the color, and you can even modify the size of the bar chart. You want to make it more big, you can do that. And if suppose after reviewing the bar chart, you feel the year should be, vice versa, you can modify that. So it's with a single click, you can modify it. So generally for date, we go with a line graph. So if you want to show a trend or something which has been, a month over month or year over year, so line graphs are always better for it. Like this one, it's particularly using the year. So if you go with the date, you'll have to modify it. So these are like a lot of it. So let's filter out a few of it. If you add it to the filter, and you're using the individual dates, right? So select the individual dates here, and then you can either use all, you can select from the list. Let's go with only one particular date for now. So select none. Let's only select for something in the month of January. Okay. First 10 days of January. Okay, and we apply it. So this would be the graph. What is the order date? What is the ship date? And what is the sales, to view it easily. And this marks card, it is particularly useful to actually add the colors or changing the size or even showing the display label. Like if you want to show the count along with it, right? So that's showing the numbers. It's really it gives a better view, right? So you can add that. And so for this too, if we add it, show mark levels. So if you want to compare day by day, right? On January 1, you got the orders, but nothing was shipped. But on January 2, you got 314, but still something was shipped. So you can do a comparison based on it. And this particular line graph, it also gives you a quick overview, like you want to explain it to your manager, like, month by month or day by day, this is the change you're having. Is it increasing? Is it decreasing? Is the sales getting better? Or how is the, which is the peak time? Like suppose you're working in a company which takes orders, right? Like an online shipping company. So you need to understand what is the peak season, right, of getting orders, and when you can actually work better, right? Based on that, you can either do some marketing. The marketing team can use it to actually, do something to increase the sales, or does it require more kind of, discounts during this time? Will it help us boost the business? Such decisions can be done by using a simple graph. And so same graph can be used by different teams in different ways, right? Your management, they can understand how the business is going on. Your marketing team, they can devise different strategies to help boost the business. You can use it to understand where the gaps are, like why this particular date had, less sales compared to others. What happened on that day? Why is it, different compared to other things? So you can always use in different ways. So that's why the target audience is really important, because it helps you understand, like, why we are actually displaying this information. What is the use of it? And you also have the information like product ID and product name, like which particular product is having the more sales, and which particular month the sales are happening a lot. So everything, all that information, but it doesn't need you to go to an Excel sheet, do the calculation, or do something. You can directly view it on the dashboard. So I think this really, makes work easier. And when you have month over month data like this, there is also an option to append the data every month when you're working with it. And it helps you to actually, like you don't have to do complete upload of the data every time. Month over month, whenever you get the new data, you can directly append it to the existing one. And it also allows you to publish this particular view. Like suppose you've got the view, your management says, okay, this is fine. Do you can you send this to us? You can directly, sorry. Oh. So what is the data behind it? If you click on view data, right, it shows you everything like in a tabular format. If somebody actually needs a copy of the data, right, and you can select all the fields and you can export this data. Either you can do that, or whatever data it is, you can either add those fields here. You can export this to a CSV or an Excel, and you can send this to whoever needs this data to help them understand it better, or to make sure like everything is getting displayed properly. So this is one way which you can display the underlying data as well. And it also allows you to quickly copy the image to I don't know what it's okay. So this is a sheet, one particular view, right? And sometimes you build different views on a particular dashboard. You have different things. Like suppose you're not only worried about the sales, you also want to calculate the discounts which are being given, or the quantity which is sold, or overall profit you had over a given time period, or from a particular region, whatever. If your business is in different countries, which country is having the more number of sales or the less number of sales, you will be having different views for each of it. And you will want to like drill down on each particular view, based on the country, based on the month, what is happening. So for each view you can build a different type of, so suppose here if we take the country, okay, you can directly select the country here, and in this you can add, if you want to check the sales, you can add the sales for each of it. So it kind of, the bigger circle means the more number of sales are happening, and very small means the sales are very less. So this kind of gives a quick view. When you look at it, you can clearly see, okay, so here we have a lot of sales happening here, but here we don't have much. So maybe these are the things we need to take care of. These are the areas we need to look into. And try to do something to improve the sales. So in that way you can, whatever different type of data you have, you'll have a different view for it, and you can always select it from here. Or if you want to show it in a different way, instead of the circles, you want to show it like, okay, the darker one means like, the sales are happening good here, or the light ones means not happening much. So you can show it in different ways. And other than that, if you want to drill down on particular city and state too, right, you can do that. So in United States, it's happening in one particular city or state. What is the city and where it is? Sure, it's. Am I audible? Okay, not sure when the audio got cut off. Um, okay, I hope everybody can listen to me now. So, okay. Brian just joined. Okay, no worries. Brian, Tableau is basically a data visualization tool which helps you to create different types of views for your data, and display it in a like whatever manner you want to show. Like basically for easy interpretation of data. If you have suppose different data sources like your Excel files, or you have your data on a particular server, you can connect to that and try to display it with a view which is easily understandable by the stakeholders, or for other teams, or for your own team to understand. Like in this case, I hope you can see my screen. In this case, like suppose this is a particular data set which has orders, like for a company, the orders placed with the the order date, the ship date, and all the different categories of their the particular order, where it displays the profit, the sales, the quantity, the discounts being available. So in this particular one, if you want to see for one particular date what was the on the order date, if you how much sales you had on that particular date, how many was shipped. So it gives you a quick comparison. You don't have to go through all the multiple sheets or do different calculations. You can directly connect to that and display it here, and you can see the numbers in a easy way. It kind of makes your life easy. You can directly view it, because reading a document takes much more time, and it's more tedious compared to actually viewing something on the screen. So this is a good way to show complex data. So this is Tableau Public, which is openly available. You can download it, and you can try practicing it by connecting it to different data sets. So here I'm using an Excel, but you can connect to different ones. Like you can, like if you go to a new data source, right? You have different types of files which you can connect to the Excel, the CSV, or the PDF, or you can either directly connect it to a database, the Access database, or Postgres too. And if suppose it is not directly available, you can install the connector for it and you can connect to it. So it will it allows the feasibility to connect to different types of files you have. And once you connect to it here, like if you have to make some changes to it or modify the data, clean it up a little bit. Like suppose there are a lot of empty rows at the top of the sheet, and you don't know, like the after the empty rows you have the names for the columns, right? So you can use the data interpreter to clean it, and once you do that, it directly removes the additional the empty rows, or cleans it up a little bit. It kind of gives you a better data. And if you have multiple sheets, you can use that too. Like if you want to join it, like suppose in this case you have the order ID, you can connect it to both orders and return, because whenever somebody tries to return it, they'll have the order ID with them, and you want to combine the both to create a different type of view for it, you can do that. So I was trying to show the sales in US for different cities and states. I don't know my audio was available at that time or I got cut off. But suppose you use the country name instead of showing you the map. You want to be build a table where you show like in this particular country. I filtered it on US. You can do for any other state if you want. So you add the state and city also, and you want to see, what is the sales happening in each of these, right? And you want to arrange it in a ascending or descending order to see, which is the best one, which is not. So you either do it in an ascending one. Texas, it had only one, right? And the highest was in New York. It was, more than 250,000. So you can easily determine that. Like if you're talking to a stakeholder, you're trying to tell them, okay, which city has the more number of sales. You can easily do that from this view. And you can build different ones too, like which is looks better. Like even suppose you go with a bar chart, you can do that. And if you arrange it in a, as descending manner, it shows New York at the top. If you want to also like show what is the actual sales, you can see like show the mark labels, and it gives you the total at the end. It shows you the number 2, and you can add different colors for different states, or if you're adding multiple countries here, you can add different colors for it. If in this case, let's add the city or state to the color. It does different colors for it. In this case, it's a lot of cities here, so it doesn't make sense for it. But suppose in general you're preparing a report wherein you have to show the top 10, or the top 10 or 15, or the lowest 10 or 15 states where you have the sales. You can do that, and the top ones maybe you show it in green if it's showing a lot of sales, and the other ones you show it in a different color. Or if it is suppose the lowest sales, you can show it in red. So it depends on your particular view and who you're targeting with it. So here it's general, we don't have any particular requirement, so it kind of spread out. But if you have a particular requirement, you can select the color palette from here. If you select more colors, it kind of allows you to pick it. And here it's because you don't have any condition for it, right? It's only one field. But if you have multiple fields, you can add multiple fields for the color, like in the first sheet we had, right? So the order date, it's in a different color, and ship date, if you want to show it in a different color, you can do that. Suppose here I add them sales one to the color. So it kind of gives a blue gradient over it, right? But this is because it's a continuous one, it kind of takes the color palette differently. You can always select from here. It takes blue is the automatic one default, but you can select that, like if like I said, red to gold or orange to blue, like you want to show the highest ones in, you know, one particular color, or you know, the start of the year in one particular color, you can select that. Let's go with red, and if you apply it, but instead of, you know, this way you want to reverse it, you can do the reversed one. You know, now this shows the darker one and this is the lighter, so you can change the colors here, but this is in a different one, you can add the same here too, right, into the color. So here again it's in red, so you can change the colors how you want to display it, right? So coming to the bar chart, like similar to the country, you want to particularly filter out any state and city, right? You can do that. And instead of only showing the sales, you also want to show the profits, right? You can add it like both side by side, you can view it. Okay, this is the sales and this is the profits we got in this particular city, right? It shows a quick view side by side. You don't have to sit and calculate it from the Excel. You can, you know, directly add the data here, add it to the view, display it, right? And for each one you can, you know, add different type of color, and then you can, you know, for sales, like suppose we add it, color, right? This is in blue. And for profit, let's take some different color. Let's go with red, right? So maybe you show it differently because you know, sometimes you may have to build something like profit and loss statements too. So profit, actually you can show it in green and loss maybe in red. So it are like, you know, it's easier to understand whenever somebody is viewing it, even if somebody doesn't have the technical knowledge to understand, like, you know, what is sales, what is profit. They just look at your view and say, okay, you tell them, like, you know, this particular view is for the profit, and you show it them. They're like, okay, this is having the highest part, maybe it means it has more profit. It's easier to understand, right? Even without technical knowledge, even knowing, like without knowing your background or anything, you can view at it, you get a clear idea. Okay, this is in negative, means it's loss, it's not, you know, not a profit. So it kind of becomes easier to understand. And based on your audience, you can either if it's first stakeholder, they are not interested you know, in knowing for each particular city or state, like because your business is spread out in multiple countries, you don't need the city and state. So based on your audience, you know, you can, like, only the country, like if suppose we remove all the filter here, right, we use all, okay, and we apply it. So they just want to see which country has how many sales and how much profit, right? And you can sort it like, you know, how you want to show it, you know, which color and how you want to display it, everything you can select it. You can apply different kind of filters. And one more option is to show it on a dashboard, right? These are the sheets you built out. One is the showing this you know, date over date on the order date and ship date, and then you have another one which shows the countries. You can add both of them to the same particular dashboard, right? So here one thing is, like, you know, which device you're going to display it. Most of them, you know, it works for the default, you know, your laptops or desktops, it works fine. But suppose your particular team, they want to display it on phones, you can select that too, you know, view only for the phone. It kind of adjusts according to it. So what is the type of device, you know, you're displaying your end result, even that you can, you know, that can be selected. So you go with the default one, or you can edit the size too. Let's go with the automatic, like whatever you added, it kind of adjusts according to it. And then this is the tiled and floating. So this is basically like if suppose you have a particular idea in mind, like your manager says, okay, we have to have half of the sheet showing the view one and half per view two, or you have to show only one over the whole screen, right? If you have a fixed one, you go with the tile, you add one container, like, you know, this dimension I have to show it in this way, I have to show this view in particular, you know, these dimensions only, you go with the tiled one. Or you want to just play around, you know, add it wherever it looks good, go with the floating one. right? This kind of allows you to edit it on the fly, right? But the tiled one, it's more like a fixed size. You can select that if you have like particular requirements for it. So if you select, you add the sheet 1 here and sheet 2 here, then you can play around and see how it looks good. Does it looks good side by side, or one above and one below? How do you want to display it? And whatever color palettes or filters you added, it kind of adds it to the dashboard too. Like if you click on this, we had a filter for the order date and ship date, right? So we can add it here as well. And when you add this to this dashboard, right, whenever you show it to somebody else, on the fly they can select another order date if they want to, and the view changes accordingly. Like suppose I remove this, it's always interactive. It's not like it's a fixed one. You can change it on the fly. You don't want to like limit it to one particular month. Like while building, you want to see like how this view looks, but for the user to view it, you want all the data to be available to them and want them to change it accordingly. You can add it as a filter onto the dashboard, and then they will choose like what particular month or date they want to view it. And then based on that, the data gets adjusted. Like suppose I go with something in, if I add all, it kind of it's a lot of data. So let's go to multiple values drop down list, right? It kind of allows you to type in something and search for it. So let's say we go for something in 2012. Do we have it? Yes. So you can add that, but it's like a lot of difference. From 2011 you directly went to 12, but it adjusts your graph according to that. It allows your type and search for it. Or you can go for different type of filters too, like the drop down. It allows you to select, but you'll have to scroll for everything. Or you only want to show one particular value at a time. You don't want to allow for multiple selection, right? So only one value per time, like you want to select that. So you can do that too. So these are a few things. You either want to include these values, or suppose if you select the exclude values, right? Except this, it will show everything, right? This is useful when you want to exclude the nuns or null. You tried cleaning the data, but you're not able to remove it. One thing you can do is use a filter to exclude the data. You don't want to display nulls onto your view, right? So you can do that instead of and then you can also select this floating order. You want to move this on the screen, you can do that. And here you can name your sheet actually. So this is the default, whatever you have here. Let's say this is order date versus ship date, right? It updates that. And you can select the format, sorry, which font you want to display it. You want to show it and suppose in a bold format, and you hit apply, it shows you the change over there. Not only for this header, you can also do it for all these marked labels, for this axis and everything. You can right click that and you can format it like whatever font you want to select. You want to apply some type of shading to it, or this axis text marks, right? Whatever you have here for the sales, you want to display it in some other way, you want to display it in some other color, you can do that. Number formats too. This is sales, so these numbers are fine. But for profits, if you want it for particular cent too, right? You want to include that. You can select the currency for it, or any custom type of like for your numbers, you want to sometimes you want to display a percentage beside it with a symbol or something. You can select a custom format. Like suppose here I give 0, and if I say dollars behind it, right, it displays with that symbol here. So okay, this amount is in dollars. Or when you add the currency too, you get that. But other than, like, this is just for this explaining to you. You can add any kind of symbol you want, right? It kind of adds it to the view there. And you get to select different types of customizations for your particular view, discussing with your team like how you want to display it, right? So based on that, you can do it. And alignment too, like you want to show it like this, or how you want to show the alignment for it. So this is not okay. You can select that. You can do a lot of you can play around with it, how you it's your choice how you want to display your particular view, how you want to, once again, right? Okay, so this is everything in 2011. Okay. Other than that, if you want to, select something for a custom value list, you can also select, only one particular test. You want to display everything which has 2011. You can select that. Include the values or exclude the values, right? If you don't want to display 2011, but you want to display every other year you have, then you can select that too. It excludes that. So one more option you have is when you have the date fields, right? Sometimes you want to view the latest ones first. You don't want to, keep scrolling until you actually reach to the latest one. So filter to the latest date whenever the book is open. So it selects only the latest value, right? In this particular data set, it's the 2014 one. So it will select that and it will only show for that particular month. So you can do that too. So with dates you can filter out, and if you add country or something, country or city or state, whichever has some latitude or longitude to it, you can select the maps here, in the map format. Pie charts are useful when you want to show something which is continuous data, or part of a whole, like in suppose you want to show in the total amount of sales this particular product had, this much amount of contribution to the sales, or this particular product contributed this much to the profits. You want to show it as a, part of something, like show it in a form, like the how everything combined, how everything contributed to one particular field. You can use the pie chart. And if you want to just show something like a comparison, like for the different countries, or show it in a different format, you can use the bar charts for it. And if you have a trend like year on year or month on month, or you go on, like you have something related to dates, you can go with the line graph for it. So which type of view you select, it depends on the data you have and what you're trying to display from it. Also depends on the audience you're targeting for it. So once you have the dashboard, let's rename this to sales versus profit, and you add it here. But this filter, it's kind of taking a lot of space, so let's you know resize it. Because you have it in a floating format, it kind of allows you to, resize it on the fly. So either you can keep it here or you can remove it from your dashboard. And you can also add a header to your dashboard too. Like you show your dashboard here, you want to say, like, name your dashboard like this is the dashboard for showing the orders data. You can do that, but this is kind of overlapping, your other views. So you can resize it, remove this one from here, and let's resize it in a much better way. One more advantage for this is, like, you can also filter by selecting the data on the view also. Like when you're viewing this, you see, okay, I want to see, like, right now what is only particularly related to US. You can directly click on that, others get grayed out. And one more option is, like, suppose in both the views you can add something which is a common field, then you can filter on both at the same time. Let me show you that. So here you have order date and sales, right? And okay, let's add the order date into this one too. Order date, the exact date, and then discrete, right? And then let's filter out the country for United States. apply. So in United States on this particular date, what is the sales you had and what is the profits you had? So this is a quick comparison. And then here, because you have the filter for the order date, let's add it to the sheet here. Let's move it a little bit to the top, drop down, right? And let's resize it. So this layout option here, it allows you to select a particular uh, X and Y coordinates to have this in a particular size if you have something in mind. But it helps you to resize quicker if something is, very huge. So here, if suppose I select this filter option on both the views, and if I filter out something here, right, it filters it out on both of it. Okay. Just let me see what I did. Okay, this is a custom one. Okay, sorry, I forgot one step. So when you want to use a filter across multiple sheets, one thing you can do is, apply it to worksheets, like everything in this workbook, or, if you have multiple workbooks connected to the same data source too, right? You can say like all using this data source. Let's go with that. Now it's applicable to everything. You see here, it shows the symbol here, which means this filter applies to all the sheets in this workbook, right? Now let's go to this one and let's select some date. If you see the dates here and here, they match, right? It shows the same ones. So if you add some filter, which is common for all your different views, right? And you add it to your, sorry, let's only keep one. And if you add it to your dashboard, right? This allows you to dynamically filter. When you're sharing this view with someone, you don't want to like every time they come with like, okay, I want to check the sales and profit or the ship sales information for this date. You don't have to sit and manually, figure out every time. Once you publish this dashboard, right? Every time they want information for another date, they can go and select it themselves, right? And from that, they get the information, everything displayed on the dashboard. So this kind of helps you to, filter out easily, and it's a dynamic one. It helps us users interact with them. So this is a really useful feature. It's other than the order that you can add other features too, but only thing is that filter should be usable across different sheets, and then only you can filter out the data. We have some questions here. So before you add the string data, right, because it doesn't actually allow to separate, because everything is counted as a single string, right? You'll have to do some data cleaning on your side when you add the data source to your workbook, right? Either you can create a calculator field. So there is one thing called adding calculator fields to your workbook after you get the data, right? It doesn't get added to your Excel sheet in the backend. This is only like to the limit of your workbook, right? You can go here and you can create a calculator field, give it some name. Like in your case, if it's about the string parser, let's say, right? Here, if you start typing your particular field name, so you have in this, you can, for giving a field name, you have to select square brackets for it. And let's say the field is customer name, right? When you start typing, you get everything related to that. Let's say customer name, right? You can add some calculation, like say customer name. Okay, one second. Contains, right? Contains is a formula which kind of helps you to select a particular string. Like if it contains this, you want to select only that part of the string or something like that, right? So you can do that. And here you'll add the string and what you want to select from it. Like in this case, like say customer name, it has the letter P, right? And I do this. This is like a formula, right? And this if you click here, you have all the different formulas which are available, which you can use for creating the calculated fields. So most are like specific to strings and all. You can always select here, like if you select string, it gives you all the different types of options you want. Like you want to like extract something. I think you guys might be familiar with regular expressions, right? So you can also use that here, or replace a particular string. Your data is not correct in some places, you want to replace the string data with some other name maybe. Or you have something like which is given in a short form, right? But you want to display it in a full, not the abbreviated form. You want to display it completely onto the dashboard. You can come here, you can select the replace function, you can create a field with that, and whichever like calculated field you're creating, you'll have to like add it to your particular view, and then only it will work. And you also have the split and trim, and you want to convert it to uppercase, lowercase, everything like particular to string. Or you have different for all the dates, numbers, and everything. So let's say we go with the string parser, and it gives you true or false. If the customer name contains P, then it's true or it's false. And if you want to filter out based on that, our views don't have customer name, but in case it does, you can add it to the filter and you can say, I want only ones which contain this. Select the true, or else you want to say false. Select that one. And this filter, you can add it to your dashboard. And based on that, dynamically you can view that particular string. But other than that, you'd have to like, do the data cleaning from your side if you want to do any more modifications. Yeah. Any other questions? So, yeah, this is the one I was talking about. Like, even if you want to collaborate with your teammates, right? Tableau really helps you do that. It's you can share it across multiple users too, and you can always customize it. You can use different types of color palettes. So yeah, if you have any questions, so